right, are we up on the internet? All right, we are doing a lesson on shutter speed. Did everyone get the homework or the classwork when I was absent? Bless you.
Bless you.
Yeah. If you did not get it, see me after class and I'll give you the worksheet to take home. All right, so right now what I need you to do is I need you to look up the photo or look in Google Pics, Salvador Dali jumping photograph. Just look for that right now. Okay? It's on the board. Anybody have it yet? It will be an image, a black and white image of a man jumping with water and a cat and chairs. So I want you to double click on that and pull that up. Does anyone have it yet? All right. Who has the title of this photo? Look for the title. The title is the first word of the title is actually his last name. So that kind of will give you a clue. Yep.
Dali
Atomicus?
Yeah.
You got it. All right, come on up and write it down on the board. You got it. All right, so if you can't find the photo, Miss Gorey here is going to write it on the board up top there. It's called Dali Atacama. Now, actually it's Atomicus. Yep, I-C-U-S. All right, Adam, thank you. Atomic. Now back then, you know, the atomic bomb, when this photo was taken after, atomic meaning explosive. So is that photo kind of explosive in the sense? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right, who was the photographer? When you get it, raise your hand for me. Taylor? No, he's actually the famous artist in it. Alex? Yep, come on and write it up. Photographer is Philippe Halsman. Now, Philippe, if you go back into a bunch of the photos that I asked you to pull up, Philippe photographed many stars, famous stars, jumping. Now, there's a theory to this type of photography. It has the first word jump in it. What's the second part of the word? See if you can find that in there, in Wikipedia. So this theory in which he's photographing, jump is the first part. There's a second part to that word. We're going to be doing a shutter lesson in this theory. Anybody find it yet? If you find it, raise your hand. Can you restart your computer?
What?
Jump, yep. Yay! You got it. All right. It's called Jumpology. Come on and write that on the board. Now, he photographed Jumpology because he felt people would relax and like let their defenses down and be in Jumpology. But why do you think I'm having you do a lesson in shutter speed for Jumpology? Why am I having you look this up? Anybody? What about Jumpology? Thank you. What about it? What about jumping and shutter speed go together? Yep. Yeah, Alex is right. You need a fast shutter in order to get an action shot or a fast subject in focus. Okay? Right now, what I'm going to have you do is a group effort. I'm going to hand out a piece of paper. 2 people are going to work together in teams, and you're going to fold the paper in 4. Okay? In 4 sections. Now, what I'm going to have you do is you're going to make educated guesses. You're not going to find this on Wikipedia. gonna look up. You're gonna look up shutter speed and try to guess what shutter speed he used. Okay? Then you're gonna look up aperture and try to guess what aperture he used. You're gonna look up ISO, which we've worked on all of these. Try to guess, an educated guess, what the ISO is. And then in the last one, there is a specific answer for this. So these 3 boxes you're not going to find anywhere. You're just going to make an educated guess for me. The last box, how many photos, okay, how many photos did it actually take him to shoot to get that one shot? That's extremely important for you to understand why, okay? So, I'm going to pass around a piece of paper, and we're all going to look that up. You're going to work with the person next to you, all right? Any questions on that? So, let me reiterate again. These 3 boxes are educated guesses. You will not find it. What you need to do is look under the definition if you don't know the settings. Read about the settings a little bit, and then try to figure that out, okay? And then we're going to go around the class and talk about it. All right. I'm going to pass around paper. Thank you. All right, we're back in. I want one person from each team to come up and write your answers in the box that's already designated. So come on up, let's go. One person. Bring your paper.
Yeah, I know.
Anybody else? Who am I missing? If it's a fraction, write a fraction. If there's a decimal point, put a decimal point. You're going to have to share. How are we doing? Once you're done, just pass along the Now, as they're writing, I want you to look up what we're going to be shooting outside in a little bit. A water balloon.
Please don't drop that.
They hurt when you
They do hurt when you get hit. Cool. So, what I am going to be giving is extra credit. We'll be doing water balloons for the next 2 days. However, next week we will be doing jumpology in the style of Philippe Halsman. You will get extra credit if you bring in something to use as a prop for our set. We'll be bringing the backdrop outside. I'm talking like water pistols. I'm talking jump ropes, hula hoops. What else? What else can we use?
Mini trampoline.
Pogo sticks,
Mini trampoline.
mini trampoline. Anybody got anything for juggling? Ribbons. You know those twirl ribbons?
Oh, I have those.
Start looking through your, I'll give you 2 points extra credit if you bring it in to use, okay? Hi,
Hi,
what's up?
can I get one of those,
It's online.
It's on
But
Google
right now,
Docs.
I'm in the middle of class. Can you come back after lunch? Or after, okay.
you already passed that?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. See that?
All right. All right, so we are almost finished. Let's see what we have. Let's see what answers we have. Woo, we're all over the map. Got it? All right. Thank you. Shutter
We didn't do
speed.
that on camera or anything.
Shutter speed. We have 1/25th, 1/16,000, 1/1600, 1/500, fast shutter speed, 1/1000, 1/2000. All right, you're all almost on the right track, except for the 16,000. It would just take away a 0, it'd be 1600. Now I want to show you something about shutter speed. The speed of a shutter is what? How fast what opens and closes? Your camera, okay? The lens. What specifically is opening and closing quickly? Anyone know? When I shoot the shutter, what is opening and closing? Not only the lens. Look what's moving on the inside. Okay, look. What is actually moving? What is this? We've seen it before, but what does it look like? It's a mirror. Okay? What happens is the mirror lifts. Okay, watch. Yeah? and actually there's a thing called mirror vibration, which you don't need to know about right now, but the mirror lifts and it goes onto the digital sensor, and it's how fast that actually goes. All right, so looking at the photo, if we shoot something slow, which we shot before, 1/15 is very slow, 1/30th, 1/60th, 1/125, 1/1000th, 1/2000. Now some of your cameras will go up to 1/4000. Okay? This is for something super still. Okay? So if you're shooting something fast, where on the plane do you think his shutter speed would be? And look at the photo. There's a cat jumping. Is the photo in focus? Is everything in focus in that picture? Yes or no? Yes or no? No, not everything is in focus. So, where do you think his shutter speed would be? Make a guess. Chris. Just make a guess. If this is total focus, because it's real fast, and this is not really, that's really slow, it has to be a still object. Where in here do you think it would be?
1,000.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh.
1/1000. And I think that's a pretty fair answer. I'm probably thinking he used around 1/500, 1/250. All right, so moving on, aperture. Moving on to aperture. Aperture is what? The opening of the what? Opening of the what, guys? Of the lens, of the iris. You know, so like your eyeball, your pupil opens, if it's too bright or too dark, that actually happens. So here's my eyeball. I'm going to do a few settings to help you. Okay, aperture. We have minimum, okay, 100, 3.5, f30, f11, and minimum. None of them are really going along so great. Yeah. The aperture is the opening of which the lens is. So if my eye is super dilated, does everyone know what that means? It means it's really open. My aperture is somewhere about let's say, a 4.0. That's not as low as it can go. An aperture can go pretty low. You can go like 1.8. Now if it's like mid-size, like Mama Bear, you know, this is Papa Bear, this is Mama Bear, middle size. You're going to say, I'm just going to say somewhere around an 8.0. Now, if this is really tiny, hi, thank you. Really, really tiny, that would be like an f22. Now, what to tell you is this, when it's really open, not everything's in focus. When it's really small, everything is focused. Now, I'm going to show you something. Here's a tree, here's a house. I'm focusing on the house. I'm coming from that way. I'm focusing my camera on the house. If I'm at a 1.8, this is going to be blurry. Does that make sense? But if I'm at an f22, what happens is the planes come together, and then everything is in focus. Now I want to ask you a question. Does the eyeball act like a low aperture? Or does the eyeball act like a high aperture? Do you see one thing in focus at a time? Or do you think you see everything in focus at a time? David?
Slow.
It's low. If you were to look around, look at something. Do you see everything else in focus? No, that's your peripheral vision. Ansel Adams here has everything in focus. That's an illusion. That's not reality. It's not your eyeball reality. So what we need to know is, how does that play into the photo? Is everything in focus in the picture itself? Look. No? So, someone's saying no. So where in here would you say it would fall? Nicole, where do you think it would fall maybe in here? If it's not everything's in focus, some's in focus, some's in not. In the middle. 8.0. So maybe this is around an 8.0. Oh, 8.0. Okay, aperture. ISO. Alright, where do we think his ISO is? ISO meaning the lower the ISO, the tighter the pixels. The bigger the ISO, the less pixels or less grainy. Look at that photo. Is it grainy? No? So could be between 80 and 400. Where do you think it would fall in there? Between, if it's not grainy. Here's not grainy. 100, 200, 400, 800. It gets grainier or less detail the higher number you go. So is there a lot of detail? So where in here would it fall? Okay, 100. We're making educated guesses. There's no right or wrong. I don't know the answers to these. We're just learning how it works. All right, last question. How many photos did it take? Does anyone know? We got 47, 28, 28, 26, 28, 26. It is 28. All right, what you need to know about that is we're going to go out and shoot this balloon. I'm going to pop it, and you're not going to get the shot. If you get it on the first try, you're lucky. What that tells you is how many shots it's going to take to really get the right photo. You need to be patient. You need to be a little gentle with yourself and forgiving and learn how to use that camera. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on that? Anybody have any questions on how that works? Okay, right now get your cameras out. And we're going to put it on shutter speed priority. If you have a larger camera, you want to put it on manual. Everybody's ISO should be around a 200. If you don't have 200, 100. If you don't have the option of manual, what other options to shoot a fast shutter are on your camera? What other options? There's like 4 options. For the little point and shoot cameras, little icons, what are your icons that tell you you can shoot something that's fast? Look at your cameras. What do they have? What does it tell you? Anyone? It tells you nothing? Who says action? Does anyone say action? All right, that would be it. Does anyone have the running man? That would be it. Who has child and dog? It looks like a person and a dog, but it's really child and dog. Anybody have that one? Does anyone have the cat? All right, so those are the modes we're looking for. Now, if you have a dial on top where your modes would be, that's where some of those would be. Some of them will be in your camera, and on top, if you have manual, M for manual, you want to be in that. You want your shutter to be like 1/500, your ISO to be 200, and your f-stop to be around a 4, 5, 6. Okay? All right, we're going to go outside. We're going to start shooting, and then I'm going to check to see how we do the first few times. All right, we good? All right. You're going to focus on the ball, halfway shutter down. So you focus your camera first. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3, and then I'll pop it. You're going to try and shoot it after 3. However, as we start shooting, you're going to find that you may have to shoot on 2.5. You may have to shoot on 2. I had someone last period have to shoot on 1.5. Okay, so you're going to have to check to see where your, how slow or fast your shutter is. Okay, so first try. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. You get it? Jordan, will you hand me a balloon? Someone hand me a balloon. Okay, here we go. We have a lot of balloons, don't worry about it. Now what we're looking for is the ball. Remember, when the water balloon pops, there's actually a water ball, okay? So you want to get the ball, not the dribbles, and not the balloon itself. So you want to get the ball. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. You're going to get a lot of my faces now. Face it, you face it.
Are we doing this again tomorrow?
Yeah, we're doing this.
Is that one of them?
You can zoom in. That's a good question. You can zoom in as far as you want to. You just want to make sure, because if you're really getting the ball, it's going to spray. It's going to make a spray. Okay. And I wore colorful bracelets for Photoshop. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to come around and check to see where you are to help you out.
I made sure to. Whoa!
All right, so let me ask you this: if you're not getting the ball, if you're just getting water dribbles, you have to shoot earlier. You have to press the shutter down a little earlier in my count. If you're getting the water balloon ball itself, you have to shoot a little later. Press the shutter a little later. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to come around and check, all right?